Hello everyone, today we want to tell you what Easter eggs are in games, what is it, what kind it can be, and also the brightest examples of Easter eggs in games. Yeah, there are a lot of interesting, funny and very confused Easter eggs which amazed many simple users and fans. First, let's define the concept of Easter eggs. Easter egg is a term used to describe a message, image or feature hidden in a video game, maybe film or other usually electronic medium. The term used in this manner was coined around 1979 by Steve Wright, the then director of software development in the Atari consumer division, to describe a hidden message in the Atari video game adventure in references to an Easter egg hunt.
In video games, Easter eggs are the hidden properties of games that can be revealed by some button combinations or by accessing remote areas in the maps of the game, or even in the disc itself. Easter eggs range goes from a new different ways to play a game, passing through hidden music tracks, to visual oddities that a player would have to connect to a backstory to truly understand the hidden message, just to name some. Easter eggs usually appear in the form of a joke or stimulating message from the developer to the player. There may also be Easter eggs just opening up new features for players. When designers decide to use these Easter eggs in video games, they do so for many reasons. One of the principal reasons to use Easter eggs into the games was because in that way you can identify the game as the designer's creation. Also, Easter eggs might aim to create an emotion in a player, and this emotion have an impact on the player's experience with the game.
Let's talk about the first Easter egg in the game industry. Other Science, the first discovered Easter egg in the game Adventure, released in 1980. Easter eggs have become a main feature of the gaming industry. Of course, technically, this game wasn't the first game to have a hidden secret, but definitely it was the first discovered and also the origin of the term Easter egg. In the game, the player controlled a character represented as a small square. The goal of the game was to adventure through a variety of different colored mazes in order to find a golden cup and return it back to the kingdom. And hidden secret within the game was one of the very first video game Easter eggs. After completing a series of discrete tasks would be shown a hidden message, which contained the developer's name. It was put into the game for a specific reason. In the 70s, the founders of Atari had to sell the company to Warner Communications in order to get enough money to produce the home gaming technology they wanted. But Warner Communications ended up being much more pressing than was originally expected. In an article from Forbes about the game, Warren Robinett, the game creator, discussed what it was like to work under this management. He was saying those guys, Warner Communications, played hardball and they treated the existing game designers rather disrespectfully and rudely. They're not going to give us any leverage or any name recognition with the consumers because they might start asking for things like royalties. Because Warren didn't get credit for his game, he decided that he would secretly add his name to the game, somewhere where only the most dedicated of players could find it. And this is how the first Easter egg was born in games. This Easter egg was no easy feat to find, as it was extremely well hidden within the game. It needed to be hidden well, or else someone at Atari would find the secret before publishing, and it would have been removed.
Easter eggs were not originally only planned for the using in games, but also in some other industries. An example is the film industry.
I think you got a hero here, honey bunny!
Well, just execute him!
I am not a hero. I'm just a coffee shop.
Easter eggs were very popular, so it's not a surprise that game developers have decided to develop these techniques or play these jokes in games as well. Another example of Easter eggs is in the video game of Doom, that it's the most recognizable shooter in the gaming industry. In the final map of Doom 2 that was released in 1994, you must fight against the final boss, a godlike biomechanical head on a wall, with an exposed brain that allows to spawn endless scores of demons. The final boss most damage, shooting him into a hole in his head. At the beginning, when we enter to the room, a strange noise that it's almost impossible to understand is played. If we play backwards that noise, it is possible to hear a voice say, "To win the game, you must kill me, John Romero." But who is John Romero? Well, he is one of the co-creators of the video game. Using the IV clip cheat code, it is possible to go through the wall where the final boss is located. Then we can find John Romero's head on a stick. To win the game, players must indeed kill John Romero while hearing the heads screaming of pain. That's really creepy. In modern Doom 2060, there were added 13 classic cards from the original first Doom. To access to the hidden scene, you must first find a lever in the level that opens the door to the hidden scene. This area stands out for having the same textures and sprites as the classic Doom games. A really great example of a nostalgic Easter egg for the true fans of the game trilogy.
Nintendo Power Magazine. In 1990, Nintendo Power Magazine decided to launch a contest. The winner would see his or her name in one of Nintendo's video games. The magazine didn't specify the way this name will show up or in which title. The contest consisted of sending a picture of Warmatch, a Final Fantasy I secret boss. The winner was Chris Houlihan, who received his own secret room in Super Nintendo Zelda: A Link to the Past. But this room wasn't discovered until several years before. The only way to enter the room is due to a miscalculation error of the game. Once inside, Link can pick a lot of rupees, and then a Chris Houlihan message is displayed. It says, "My name is Chris Houlihan. This is my top secret room. Keep it between us, okay?" This is a good example of the marketing strategies to keep hundreds playing several hours of Final Fantasy I to immortalize their names in one of the biggest video game companies of all time.
And next example is one of the most famous Easter eggs. The protagonist Samus Aran, a bounty hunter, protects the galaxy wearing a heavy robotic suit. When the game was released, nobody knew Samus' gender, but nowadays it is known that Samus Aran is female and was one of the earliest female video game protagonists. She was relevant in order to develop in future other female protagonists like Chun-Li from Street Fighter, Jean Valentine from Resident Evil, or Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. To get the Easter egg where Samus stands in all her ginger hair and pink underwear, you either had to finish the game in under an hour or enter a special password. The interesting part is that this Easter egg does not exist in Japan. Famicom Disk System released in the original game in Japan and only had save slots to record progress and no password system. It was until the game went to America in 1987 when the game had the password functionality.
There are lots of examples of Easter eggs. Some of them are just scary, other ones creepy. They can be clever and also they can bring some nostalgia into the players. For example, Just Cause 2 has some pop culture references all along the video game. You can find an island that emulates the island from the TV show Lost. Another example is in Gears of War 2, where it's possible that all the protagonists and some kind of enemies wear a cowboy hat. Why not? In Call of Duty Black Ops 2, it's possible to play some Atari 2600 video games inside the game. One fun example is in Red Faction Armageddon, where it's possible to use unicorns as weapons who shoot rainbows. So now we can see that developers' imagination and sense of humor play an important role when we talk about Easter eggs.
In conclusion, we want to say that Easter eggs in games have become a whole art and tradition for the gaming industry. Their fans can express themselves. Therefore, fans actually find them, and the game creators understand that it wasn't in vain that they added them.